chug some beers and make some bad gambling picks. Welcome to ChuggieBets. Is there a single place or a single sport where being a real fat dude is more charming than in baseball? I'm watching Kyle Schwarber hit right now, right? Game 7. Big at bat. And he's got that gut hanging over the plate. The Mets have a real fatty, and I love it. And I'm not fat shaming here. I am not of the most fit physique.
I don't
But
like calling Kyle Schwarber fat, by the way, because that just makes me feel really, really bad.
Kyle Schwarber's probably like a misrepresentation, but you got Justin Bohr,
The
super
portobello
chummy.
mushroom, portobello crush room.
Vogelsong, I think his name is for the Mets. That dude is a fatty. I guess, who is your favorite fat baseball player?
I mean, there's some good ones out there. I mean, you got like your Mo Vaughns, right? Your standards, like
Ooh,
your Terry
Big Mo.
Pendletons out there. Those were some really good ones.
Does
I'm
Big Poppy
partial.
fit?
Yeah, Big Poppy fits. Yeah, I'm partial personally to some of the worst umpiring I've ever seen in my life, and Livon Hernandez getting
Oh,
us.
wow.
Oh, dude, getting us to that World Series. It was beautiful.
I watched the replay of that game the other day where they had something on Instagram of the worst umpired game of all time. The strikes were like 9 inches outside.
He was getting Greg Maddux calls. Like it was, I don't, I have no idea why they were helping us so much. So that's 2 championships that South Florida has won with the referees. That Dwayne Wade one and the
Oof.
Levon Hernandez one. But woo,
If I'm dropping some charming fat guy baseball, like name some dudes, I'm mentioning Kirby Puckett, Tony Gwynn, and Bartolo Colon.
Kirby Puckett.
That's like the Mount Rushmore of
Kirby
fat
Puckett's
baseball
not a
dudes.
bad one. I feel like you're skipping like a father-son duo.
Yeah, Prince and
A
Cecil.
Detroit legend. Yeah, and
Yeah,
in
Prince and
in
Cecil.
Cecil. Is Kirby
My
Puckett
personal
is he fat?
Kirby
Let me look him up. I
Puckett
know
was he was definitely thick with 2 C's.
Okay, yeah.
If he was like average height, he would probably be skinny. Isn't he like 5'8" and like 200 pounds?
R.I.P. By the way, R.I.P.
I mean, there's
RIP.
some others that probably fit towards the end of their career. I mean, it seems like a lot of these guys end up in Detroit with Miguel Cabrera.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, Kirby Puckett was literally 5'8", so I nailed that.
It's
And
weird.
220 pounds.
Did CC play in Detroit, or was he only
Oh,
Cleveland
God.
in New York?
Sabathia? Yeah, no,
Yeah.
no, not in
But he's
Detroit.
another big one. He's another big one.
I
All right,
mean,
I got to go with my personal favorite though. I know that I mentioned Levon, but you can't have this conversation without talking about John Kruk, man.
John Kruk is a classic.
He was big. He had the mullet. He was winning in the '90s. It was awesome.
Matt, I think that picture there should answer your Kirby Puckett question.
Okay, I'll look at it in a second. One of my favorite John Kruk quotes is he was talking about all the weights in the weight room. He's like, I'm not a good athlete. I'm just a good ball player. And that's a perfect representation of what baseball is, because you don't need to be a great athlete. You could be a fatty, but boy, you could be a good ball player simultaneously.
I got a couple names to drop in non-baseball sports for
Okay.
out of shape, charming individuals. William the Refrigerator Perry.
Yeah, okay. So football
Only weighed like 250.
Yeah, but I mean he's out of position, right? Like as a fullback only. And then John Daly.
Oh, John Daly.
Or really a lot to go.
That's who
Fuzzy
was shoved in
Waldorf.
my mind when you were talking about chubby guys. What's better than a baseball chubby guy? John Daly is your answer.
Yeah.
Who was the walrus in golf?
I don't know if I'm confusing dudes, but Fuzzy Waldorf was the guy I'm thinking. Duffy Waldorf?
No.
Duffy Waldorf.
Craig Statler.
Craig
That
Statler,
was
yeah,
an
that's the one.
amazing fat guy. He is so
Good
charming.
dude.
Look at this. Oh my God. This dude is an athlete, boys. I'm gonna send you this in Bing.
He was a hell of a golfer, man. He made my dad think that he was great at golf, and
He is like, I can't think of anyone where I'd be like, that is not an athlete more than Craig Stadler, the Walrus.
he won a Masters.
I get it. I get it's like the John Kruk thing again. He's not a great athlete, but he can be a good golfer. It's so crazy now that golf.
Mike Holmgren.
So fit. He really looks like Mike Holmgren.
Andy
He
Reid.
looks like a fatter version of the diabetes guy from
Wilford Brimley.
Yeah, Wilford Brimley. Great mustache for both of these guys. I get why they call this guy the Walrus.
I saw here's Matt describing a meme. I saw a meme of the other day of the drummer playing like, what do you get when you guzzle down sweets? And then it went to him. He's like, early onset type 2 diabetes. It
Diabetes.
slayed me. It slayed me. You guys want to do some picks now that we
I can
talked about
picture it. Yeah.
fat people in sports?
I think before we get there, I think Arizona's going to close this out, and I feel like that's really disappointing for both baseball and just like everybody who wants to watch Bryce Harper in the World Series.
As someone who doesn't watch any baseball, I can appreciate a Diamondbacks Rangers World Series. Now, will I watch it? No.
So
probably not.
Then you're not who they're trying to cater
exactly.
to.
That's exactly the problem Danny was presenting there.
Exactly.
No one will watch because it's Texas, Arizona. But I'm interested as a baseball.
I'm gonna watch. But the biggest star in baseball is Bryce Harper, and I'd like to see him keep going. But the Rangers got some guys, man.
Is he the biggest star in baseball?
He's the biggest star. He's not the best player, but he's definitely the biggest star in baseball right now.
Tatis, I would say.
I mean, like literally, like this week. Yes.
I don't know what Tatis looks like. I know exactly what Bryce Harper looks like. I know what Mike Trout looks like only because I've had the conversation of, do you know what Mike Trout looks like? Because he was 12 years into his career and I didn't know what he looked like.
How about like a Shohei Ohtani?
Shohei Ohtani's pretty.
Okay, yeah, it's a bigger star. Okay, bigger star. You're right.
But if
you play for the Angels,
broken.
you don't get in the playoffs. So
yeah.
Is Clayton Kershaw a bigger star?
It's a bigger name, but I don't know if he's a bigger star. Clayton Kershaw's not like.
I can name a bunch of big pictures.
In the words of the great Stugotz, do it in the playoffs because Clayton Kershaw kind of shrinks at the biggest moments.
He does.
Did Max Scherzer pitch last night and close it out?
Yeah, he pitches for Texas.
Yeah. Because he had a disappointing outing coming back off an injury, I read. So it's good that he was able to get another stab at it and come out ahead. So
Max Scherzer started in the majors when we were in high school, right?
Oh my God, what a meatball! They just threw to Bryce Harper. Holy crap!
Oh, and he missed it.
I thought that was gone. Sorry, we're gonna sit here and deliberate until this at bat's over with Bryce.
And we probably all have it at different points because I'm on like a delayed feed, I think.
Holy crap, that was a meatball.
But yeah, let's make picks.
Dave Ortiz, fat guy. We talked about Dave Ortiz.
Yeah, Ortiz is a fat guy. Also a prop comic.
I like Terry Pendleton though. That was a good suggestion because he's a corner infielder, which you don't necessarily see fat guys. I mean, yes, first baseman for sure. Third baseman, I get it, right? The hot corner, you just have to be able to flop enough in order to play it, and it'd be good.
Who do you think the fattest shortstop
popped it up
ever play is?
He did.
The fattest shortstop, it's probably like fucking Omar Vizquel at the end of his career, or Ozzie Smith at the end of his career.
Someone that's just like normal. Yeah, there is no fat shortstop.
Yeah, my point is that there is no fat shortstop. It's just when they were actually still playing shortstop.
A-Rod the season before they moved him to third base.
The different kind of supersize there.
There's a couple white guys I think we forgot on the list. Adam Dunn. Ooh. Matt Stairs.
Oh, Matt Stairs is perfect for this game.
That's a good one.
I don't know what...
great name for this game.
What isn't there like a Larry Anderson or something?
Larry Walker.
You thinking of Larry Walker?
Larry Walker. Yeah, that's what
Larry Walker out in Colorado. I don't know if he was fat enough for this game, but he definitely had the playing style for this game because he wasn't a fat.
Or Darren Dalton. Is he fat enough? No.
Darren Dalton blew up post-playing career. He was very roided out during his playing career.
Okay.
So, and the thing I remember most about Darren Dalton is the fucking giant thing of chew in his lip.
Yeah.
Like it seemed like it went all the way up to his eyeball, like half a mutton chop.
Sports were way cooler with tobacco. Like Len Dawson smoking a fucking heater in the locker room at halftime. Like,
hell, we had tobacco in '97 with Jim Leland, right? He was just smoking heaters in the dugout.
I think he still smoked heaters in Detroit. I don't even know if he's still the head coach or manager in Detroit, but I bet you he's
probably dead. Jim Leland died in 1970. He's still alive, 78.
You know how?
Wow, he's only 3 years older than Dusty Baker.
You know the term a bucket getter in basketball?
Yeah, yeah.
Like someone, like he's not a great player, but he can get you a bucket. What is Matt Stairs? What's the baseball equivalent? A professional hitter? Is that the comparison?
Oh, to like.
I think professional hitter I think is a better compliment.
And a bucket getter?
Yeah, because a bucket is clearly inefficient. You know,
Yeah.
a
Matt
OBP,
Stairs
yeah.
professional
plays
hitter
well.
is gonna get a professional hitter is a guy mostly who can't slug, but is gonna get you like that
It's
270
got to be
average.
like fielding, which like doesn't really correlate, but like it's the
Matt
same
Stairs,
vibe,
Matt Stairs does not field. He
right?
does
But I mean,
not field.
I think the actual correlation with a bucket is guys like what's the dude in Arizona who used to hit like 50 bombs but strike out like
Well,
375
Joey
times?
Gallo?
oh,
Exactly, not Joey Gallo, but
Chris Dunn
I'll have
or
to look him
Matt
up right
Dunn,
now. If you,
Chris
I can't
Davis, Chris
remember.
Davis.
Adam Dunn. Chris Davis. That's him.
All of these guys are them. None of them are the one I'm
Yeah.
thinking of, by the way, because I don't think Chris Davis played in
Chris
Arizona.
Davis is the one.
It's Matt something.
There's so many bad baseball players named Matt who are just professional hitters.
But Adam Dunn fits that mold.
Yeah.
Adam Dunn for sure. And the fat guy.
Chris Davis is a guy who hit like 55 home runs one year and then struck out like 300 times also, and then just stopped hitting home runs and kept striking out.
Yeah, then he got paid $200 million and hasn't hit a home run since.
That's a sweet deal.
Andrew Jones probably is a fat guy we need to consider too. Good athlete for a fat guy. Sorry.
I don't believe that we could call Andrew Jones fat because he won the Gold Glove in center field 25 times.
He's fat.
Okay.
I hope you guys enjoyed this conversation.
We've called less fat guys fat already. So if we're calling any of those guys fat, Andrew Jones was fat. He was also not fat, but at the end he was fat. Let's make some picks.
Okay.
I'm Matt. That's Danny. That's Al. Three fat guys here to talk about college football. So let's drink some beers.
Matt, including yourself in our fat is just mean to yourself, by the way. But cheers.
No, it's like belittling to us.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean that as a belittling to you.
Do not include
Mark Reynolds.
Do not
Mark
come.
Reynolds.
Mark Reynolds is a professional hitter.
I'm gonna come.
He's the definition of a bucket in baseball. He's gonna hit you 50 home runs. He's gonna strike out 1,000 times. He's Joey Crawford.
Danny, if
Not
any
Joey
of our
Crawford.
6 listeners know who the fuck Mark Reynolds is, we should be covering baseball more.
All right. If someone
Andy listens.
If someone puts in the comments or 5 stars this and just puts Mark Reynolds as the only comment or statement,
I'll buy you a round.
I'll get you a gift. I'll get you a gift, but I want to see Mark Reynolds.
An hour in the batting cages.
Specifically in Spotify, I want a 5-star with a description of just Mark Reynolds. Then I will get you a gift because that shit would be hilarious to me. Let's kick us off at Saturday at noon. Danny, I don't know if you're mowing your lawn yet. This weekend slate is pretty bad in general. So, Danny, I'll give you a moment to.
This is the weekend to trim the hedges.
I haven't even thought about it yet, but I have a lot of lawn mowing to do this week because we got Gwen's birthday party coming up, which is going to be in the backyard. So the lawn's got to be in great shape in about 3 weeks.
Top. But there's not a lot of good matchups this week. There's a couple in the later schedule. Let's go to Winston-Salem. We got the 7-0 Seminoles going to Sleepy Hill at Wake Forest. Al, what are you doing here?
Yeah, this is my theme for the week. I'm taking teams that sort of struggled or underperformed last week, and I'm laying a shit ton of points with them. That starts with FSU minus 19 at Wake Forest.
Yeah, I don't like that pick. I feel like this one we never play. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say we. Florida State never particularly plays well at Wake Forest. And granted, Sam Hartman's not there. It's a little bit different situation this time, but this looks like this feels like a 14-point win to me. But hey, I'm rooting for you, buddy.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get Kansas State. Houston.
I'll just run through this. So same theory here. Kansas State minus 16.5 at home, at least against Houston. And then following that up also in the 12 window, laying 10 with Oklahoma at Kansas.
So I'm going to fight you on that one. I know this is a bounce back spot. This will probably be a spot Oklahoma will be good. I also think Kansas is it's hard to get 10 points at a team that's pretty competitive. This Kansas team is pretty good offensively. I forgot the head coach, so this point's going to run moot, but he's a really good head coach at Kansas. He's a very good offensive mind.
Is it still the big fat guy?
No, God, that guy. What was his name? Oh, Mangini?
Mangino or Mangini, something
That
like
was a
that.
Eric
fat.
Mangini?
Um,
No, different. That's Mangino.
Oh,
Okay.
Mark Mangino or something like that?
yeah,
The
fat.
fat guy. Yeah, talking about fat guys in sports.
That dude was fat. That dude,
He looked like he was the Orange Bowl
he
logo.
sweats gravy. Uh, but I'm gonna lay the. I'm gonna take the points here with Kansas. 10 feels like the right number, and I'll take the advantage of a home team. Want to go to the Colt, the land of the Colt, or I'm sorry.
I'm going to take a moment here and check in with Danny. A moment with Danny. Danny, go ahead.
So the college football slate from 12 all the way up till 7:30 is, it's average, but the actual worst spot for games this week is 10 a.m. So you got Chelsea playing at 7:30. That's my team, so I'm gonna watch them. But at 10 a.m. you got like a blowout with Arsenal and Sheffield most likely,
Ugh.
and then two bottom table teams with like Bournemouth or something. And I'm gonna mow at 10 and then dive right into college football as soon as I'm done.
Wow, I was not expecting that. I was expecting the noon slate to be premium lawn mowing time.
Because there's only two 10 a.m. games in Premier League, and I'd rather beat the Heat.
Fair
Beat
enough.
the Heat.
Fair enough. Let's go to College Station, South Carolina, coming into Texas A&M. Dano, what are you doing?
So these teams are bad. I don't want to watch this game. I only am making this pick because 2 touchdowns is a lot in the SEC. Texas A&M's kind of bad. South Carolina's way worse, but I could also see South Carolina somehow winning this game because it's the SEC. So I'm gonna take the 2 touchdowns because I think it might be close. But if Texas A&M blows them out and I lose, then bleh.
You mentioned Texas A&M in College Station, and that got me thinking of Buc-ee's, which is a gas station. Buc-ee's is extremely overrated. I'm officially out on Buc-ee's.
Wow.
And so fantastic bathroom. I like their coffee bar setup. The food's fine. They have great budge, but it's always fucking awful. There's so many people and they're all stupid idiots in your way. It's like, you know how like the idea of going to Costco is great, but then you get there and there's just a bunch of dipshits in the way everywhere. It's
The
that.
execution.
I
If you
want
beat
that.
the crowd, there's
They're-
the snack guys aren't out yet. If you go during the crowd time, it's like it's way too crowded and you have to wait in line for all the snacks. It's not even fucking worth
Yeah,
it. The deals
that's
are just
Buc-ee's.
okay. So you're saving like $8 to like spend $100 a year for $8 per trip to save. It's like
If every time
I
I
get
went
what
to
you're saying about
Buc-ee's there were
Costco.
10 people there, it would be the best place on earth. But every time I go, there's 1,000 people, and
These are literally
it's awful.
places for people without jobs.
Yeah, I hate it.
So they can go during work days.
I hate it. That's it. Just wanted to segment. Throw
Okay.
that out there.
Fair enough.
The best Costco trip you could do is either after you took the morning off to golf, go stop at Costco right after, or if you had a doctor or dentist appointment and you took a little hour
Oh,
off, swing by while everybody's at work.
there's a
Dan,
Costco one exit away, and I'm right off the interstate at my office. One time I went and got a Costco hot dog for lunch, and it was like just tight on the lunch window. But I always think I'm like, "Fuck, I should go get a Costco hot dog for lunch." But it's even like
I
at
don't
lunchtime on
worry
a
about my
weekday.
lunch window at
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
Costco hot dog is
I should
honestly,
go to
I like a
Costco
Costco
every day.
slice of pizza too. Both of them
Yeah.
kick ass. That's a fine lunch option.
The Costco hot dogs are good. Missy took the girls to Costco and got them Costco hot dogs for the first time recently, and they enjoyed it. They
Yeah.
enjoyed their experience. They also wanted everything else that was on that menu, though.
Yeah.
Because
Frozen yogurt
kids.
kicks ass.
I always
And
get
that's just
a
precision
Mountain
food.
Dew with my hot dog.
That's the only way to wash down a glizzy. Am I right? A daytime
Glizzy.
glizzy.
Glizzy Glam.
All right, I'm going to take us to Orlando, West Virginia, going into UCF. If there's ever a time in this goddamn conference that UCF's playing in for you to get a win, it's here. You need a Big 12 win. West Virginia opened really strong. They have come back to earth a little bit. Lay the 7 with UCF. For the love of God, UCF, get yourself a W in conference.
This is the rare situation where a team had a good showing but lost, where they've been bad but they had a good showing as a good team and lost, where they probably won't have a letdown next week. I really like this pick. I don't think that they're gonna. I mean, 7's a lot, but they're better than West Virginia, man. And UCF, even when they were playing in the AAC, like this is a game that they probably would have covered back then. Now they're in the Big 12 and they're losing more games because they have to play better
all
teams,
the
right?
time.
So
There's no Tulsas.
Yeah.
Tulsa is no longer on your schedule, right? Even Cincinnati is like the second worst team in the Big 12. You play Cincinnati and they were always the top in the AAC. Now, granted, this is a very different Cincinnati, different coach, all that stuff. But UCF,
yeah, all the good Cincinnati players are playing in the NFL
they
right now.
are. UCF, lay the 7 and hold on to your butts. But I do think UCF's considerably better. And I think West Virginia's a little injured. So, excuse me. Let's go to UMass Army and don't watch this game. Holy hell. Andy is
You won't be able to.
Andy's taking a crazy stance of going over 48. I don't know why you're going over 48, but I trust him on it. He must have something.
So what the reason
The numbers
he's going over 48
say
is
take the over.
His numbers say take the over, but also because UMass's offense has been better this season than they have been historically. I'm still laying the 10 with Army. I think it's the better play. I just think that Army's going to drag this game into the mud and win by 2 touchdowns.
That's what Army do. So you're laying the 10 with Army, right?
Yeah. This is really just like I didn't want to do a ton of research, and when I don't and I need a pick, I'm just gonna fade UMass when they're on the
I
schedule.
feel like for like simplicity's sake, Andy should have just bet like longest play over 40 yards or something in this game. If he likes there to be 50 points scored in this matchup, that means somebody's busting a big play at least once. So might as well just place a bet like that and just be done with it in like the first quarter.
Sometimes
and you can change
Andy
the channel.
Sometimes I think Andy confuses his military academies, and he doesn't know which ones are good and which ones are bad.
Yeah.
Like if this were Air Force over 48, would be a great
Oh
play.
yeah, I would all day. That would be an easy win. Air Force.
Yeah, well, they would win 49-0. You know. So.
All right, I'm going to be really quick on this one. Western Michigan's going to Eastern Michigan. All power ratings say these teams are basically even. I will take the 1.5 with Eastern Michigan, and I will take the home field advantage with Eastern Michigan. So Eastern Michigan plus 1.5. Andy is going over 44.5 here. Anyone have anything about the directional Michigans, or can we move on?
I believe the directional Michigans are bad.
The Broncos and the Eagles.
Oh, the mascots? I thought you were making an NFL reference.
Nope. Nope. The mascots. It is the Broncos and the Eagles.
I almost fucked up and said Western Michigan has the Bowling Green there, but
I was watching
this one's in the big house.
I was watching Western Kentucky play tonight, and I forgot that is in Bowling Green, Kentucky. You said it last night, and that made me laugh. Clemson at NC State. Andy's going over 44 here. It's an interesting play because both teams are far better on defense this year than they are on offense, but 44 is a low number. I do expect Clemson to get right at some point. NC State's offense is awful to watch. So
all Clemson needs to do to get back in the win column is have Kate Klubnik listen to Dabo. Did you see that whole thing where Dabo threw him under the bus for calling his own number on that overtime play?
I didn't hear this.
Oh, did he call his own number on the overtime play, and Dabo wanted them to do something else? Because
someone asked Dabo about it. And he said it was supposed to be a handoff, and he didn't hand it off. Yeah,
they got
JC the OC, greatest OC of all time.
Yes, he really nails it down. Let's go to Oregon.
Al, I don't think I gave out one of my chuggies last week or last pod. So why don't you chug a beer
for JC the OC?
Yeah, I just we're getting through these 2:00 games going into 3:30. I just feel like we need to drink more.
Oh, fair enough. This game is really interesting. BYU at Texas is playing. That's an interesting game. We're going to watch Malik Murphy take over the offense. Texas is still far superior in talent, but they're playing a little rough lately.
I don't find this game to be interesting.
I consider taking the points.
Is going to win by 100.
I consider taking the points with BYU, but it goes against my theme this week.
Fair enough. But this next game is super interesting to me. We got Oregon coming into Uncle Kyle's house. Utah at Rice Eccles is still like 22-0 over the last 22 games that they've played at Utah. Uncle Kyle knows how to win a game. The spread is you can either get Oregon lay the 6.5 or Utah taking 7. Boys, what are we doing here? Dano, start us off.
I don't know if you'll still be able to get a whole 7 when this comes out, but I definitely got it on Monday night. And yeah, I'm taking the 7. I think Utah at home surprises basically everybody all the time. Everybody forgets that Utah is really
Yeah.
good. What's their quarterback's name that's out,
I,
Matt?
oh my God.
Cam
The
Rising
big
is out.
farmer.
Cam Rising, there it is. So he's out for the year, and I think people are underestimating them because of that. Great hair and all that. But the guy who's replaced him, whose name also escapes me, has been better than fine.
It's not, but it's something like Harrison Barnes. But,
It doesn't look anything like Harrison
So-
Barnes, but
so look, when it comes to
You're telling me he doesn't look like an NBA small forward?
when it comes to dissecting defenses, do you take Dr. Bo or the Pig Farmer? Give me Bo Nix in Oregon.
that's what I was going to say. The pig farmer. Danny? Did you hear this comment?
I did not.
You want to start us off with Uncle Kyle's comment now?
I forget the exact, but he said something about along the lines of they've got a Heisman candidate on the other side, in Caleb Williams. And we don't have a Heisman candidate; we have a pig farmer.
Bryson Barnes, by the way.
Oh, okay, see, I was close.
Barnes,
Yeah.
It is. It's very close to Harrison.
It wasn't white enough.
No,
you just get rid of the Bry and you add some hair.
Harry Bry. So yeah, I'm gonna lay. I'm putting here 6.5 with Oregon. I put this in the other day, so maybe it's not at that anymore. But whatever it's at, lay it with Oregon.
I'm going to go a different direction here. I do think Oregon is one of the most complete teams in the Pac-12, and everyone's going to lean to under on this 48. But I'm going to take the over. I see Utah sneaking out some points here. This game is going to be a real weird one to watch, but I kind of like to counter bet it, thinking that defense will take over. I want to go over 48, and I really like that. Mississippi State, Auburn, over. I'm going to take the over 43. This is another one where I'm just like, I would normally look for a low number here. This number seems really low, so I kind of want to go against my normal trend and hit the over on 43. Mississippi State scored 7 last week. Auburn barely has an offense, but I kind of like this over. So,
okay,
don't know what I'm doing there. I'm just trying to be weird. Michigan State at Minnesota. Andy's going over 40.5. Talk about another one that feels real weird, but taking the over on 40.5 for Michigan State and Minnesota. Michigan State is on serious quit watch. We talked about that. They are just putting up transfer film right now, all the players, because the situation at Michigan State has become so bad. Duke going into Louisville. Al, what are you doing?
Yeah, I refuse to buy in on Louisville, and I'm assuming Riley Leonard's good to go in this one. And Duke's getting 4.5 points. Like, are you kidding me? Duke's going to win by 2 touchdowns.
These teams are both really good. These teams are both really good. The spread is what it is because of Riley Leonard getting hurt during that FSU game, so he re-aggravated. I don't think it was the same ankle, right?
It was a knee, I think, that he tweaked.
I think it was an ankle. The same. I think it was the same ankle. I think
it was the same ankle.
He was running around on the sideline afterwards, but Elko was like, "Hey, buddy, we're going to shut it down. This game is gone. Let's try to get back and play Florida State and Charlotte." Essentially is the idea. He's like, we got some big games ahead of us. Let's focus there.
Yeah, so if he is definitely playing, I would probably set this as a Louisville home field advantage with 3 game. And these teams are pretty even because Louisville's been kind of surprisingly awesome this year. Duke also defense is awesome. So I mean, these are probably 2 and 3 best team, maybe 3 and 4 if you UNC is up there with FSU, so 3 and 4 best teams in the ACC. Yeah, it's gonna be a great game. I'm gonna watch it.
This is a massive game for the ACC. Mm-hmm. To Danny's point, right? Because whoever gets this is in the driver's seat. They both have to play North Carolina, so this one it's kind of like a loser's out of the ACC, and then you kind of control your own destiny on the other side if you can keep winning. So this is a really, really big game. This will be a fun one to watch.
Well, they both have an ACC loss under their belt. Like everybody has an ACC loss except FSU.
Correct. So, and North Carolina.
And Miami has 2, so we need everybody else to lose. And the only teams that we play Louisville, but we don't play Duke.
I don't think you do. I think you play Louisville. I'll go into the schedule in a second. I'll let you guys open up here. When Tony Muskett in the surprising Virginia Cavaliers coming to Miami this weekend. Al, what are you doing?
Laying it with the Canes because it feels awful.
Is
Miami minus 18.
Is TVD back?
I don't know. It doesn't really
It makes a
matter. I
big
don't think.
difference.
I don't think he's
You know why it
especially
matters,
better.
Al? It matters because of the way that Mario will call the game, or will force the offensive coordinator to call the game without him. Because if you saw in that fourth quarter,
We don't
he
need to. We
lost
don't need
all
to go
faith.
into Miami again. We did it. We talked about it for like half an hour, like on the podcast.
He
We
just
just
lost
ignored
all
it.
faith. I'm saying it affects this game. He lost all faith in the freshman quarterback whose name
You're
escapes me
just
right now.
you're
Emory Williams. I think
Emory Williams.
Emory
I think the
Williams. There you
game
go.
plan against a
Thinking that,
good Clemson team was good the other day. You guys,
yeah, you're
fine.
claiming that based off solely off of the last minute and a half of regulation when Mario Cristobal was just being
No,
ridiculous.
I'm also claiming that based off the 9-minute drive where he attempted one pass that we scored the touchdown to get us within the touchdown, and then Emory, had the magic to tie the game. But um,
I didn't think any of the
no,
play calling was
I
that bad, except that last drive was real bad. Real.
no the drive that started in the third quarter and ended with 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter was that took too long.
Classic Mario. That is too long. Miami does play Virginia, and then they get NC State on the road, Florida State on the road, Louisville at home, and Boston College on the road. So you got a bunch of ACC road games coming up.
But you got to admit, UVA coming off of a upset victory of North Carolina, this is the ultimate letdown spot for them. So
Oh no, I think
play it.
I'm gonna follow you on that. But Andy is taking Virginia. He is
Yeah.
taking the points with 19. Sure, Virginia looked good last week. I think that's a paper tiger more than anything.
Honestly, if Tyler Van Dyke plays, I like Al's pick. If he doesn't, I like Andy's pick.
That's
So
fair.
I don't really know.
That's fair. Iowa State.
I think he's worth way more than like 7 points here. So
Iowa State going into Waco to face the Baylor Bears. Al, what are you doing here, buddy?
Yeah, I think Iowa State was a slow start. They had a slow start to the season, but I think they've sort of righted the ship a bit. I mean, they're still not like a really good team, but they're legitimately like a good team, and I think Baylor is just like fallen off. They're just a guy, They're a jag. So I'm laying 1.5 with Iowa State, even though it's on the road.
I'm with you. I think Iowa State is so much better than Baylor this year.
me too.
I love it.
I'm with you
Lay
guys.
the 1.5 with Iowa State.
I only didn't follow you guys on this because I didn't want to mush you.
I feel like the gambling suspension and all that problem that started with Iowa State at the beginning of the year has subsided. They found a roster that works kind of similar to Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State is playing so much better now than they were early in the year. They found something that works since that 33-0 drubbing by South Alabama. They're playing good. Iowa State's playing really well. I like it. I like lay it with 1.5. East Carolina is going.
They didn't know it was coming from USA. There,
Yeah.
They
East Carolina going to UTSA. Andy is taking the points plus 18 points. He's going to say that's too many points, and I think he's probably right. Southern Miss going into Appalachian State. Andy is on the over 55 here. I can't even pretend to have a good opinion on this one, so I think he's probably right there as well. Miami of Ohio going into Ohio. Al, what are we doing here, buddy?
Battle of the Ohios. There's only one Ohio. I'm gonna lay 7 with the Bobcats. I don't really feel great about this with it being a MAC game. Generally, it's a good principle to just take the points in MAC games, especially when there's pretty decent teams involved. That said, I think Ohio is actually really good, and I don't really know anything about Miami of Ohio. And plus, it fits my theme, so lay the 7 with Ohio.
Sure. Let's go.
Okay.
Let's go to Duval. World's largest outdoor cocktail party kicks off this weekend. You got Georgia going into Jacksonville to face Florida. Al, what are we doing here?
Yeah, so this is actually
Couldn't
the
give me
game
enough
that
points.
kicked off my theme of the week. I was like, I wanted to bet Georgia or Florida in this one, but you guys might not be aware of this, but they're not very good. So,
Florida's not.
yeah, and I'm like, Georgia is actually very good still. So, yeah, give me 14. I'll lay the 14.5. Maybe I lose it, maybe I don't, but fuck it, commit.
I love it. Yeah, I will probably join you on that one. I do think that's the right side. All right, 4 o'clock. USC is going to Cal. I am a little trepidatious about this pick. I am going to lay the points with USC. The reason being is USC has a big problem, and it's on defense. Cal has a big problem, and it's on offense. I have no qualms about USC's offense being able to score points if they're all committed. I'm a little worried that the 2 losses early and everyone's going to shut it down. Caleb Williams will
Checked out.
he'll have an injury. All of a sudden, he'll be training in somewhere else, getting ready for the NFL draft. Because now all the Pac-12 is they only have 1 loss in conference, but I think they see the writing on the wall a little bit.
Yeah, this really does feel like a buy low spot on USC, so I like it.
But I need USC to keep their shit
USC's
together.
defense played better than their offense
I
recently.
know. Caleb Williams does not look the same. Like I am curious about his draft stock. I'm curious about a lot to do. Like I know Drake May didn't play great the other day, but
He's
his
still number 1.
Well, the thing with Caleb Williams is when he's at his best, he is running the ball, not strictly running the ball, but having a good mix of both designed runs, breaking contain and scrambling, and then also mixing in, extending plays and finding open receivers. So I think there's maybe just a little bit missing from the USC offense, where that's not being emphasized.
It's blocking is what's missing.
Yeah. Okay.
Sure.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I believe you. I believe you. He has a lot of Pat Mahomes in his game, right? Where he likes to scramble, move the pocket, and then throw on the run and throw bombs. And that can be great, but it can also look chaotic if you don't have this system around it at all, right? If you can't run the ball, to your point. So
yeah, no, the extending plays and breaking contain and throwing the ball after everything works really well when you have Tyreek Hill on your team.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They have great athletes. USC has awesome receivers in Singer and Branch, but something just ain't working right. I do think this is the spot it will get back on track if everyone's committed. If they end up losing this game, USC's on hard shutdown, and I'm fading them the rest of the year because people will still be overvaluing them from a gambling perspective. Tulane Rice. Al, what are you doing here, buddy?
Can I give Al's pick here? Al's laying 11.5 because Rice fucking sucks.
Yeah, that's definitely at least half of it. The other half is that Tulane's good. Michael Pratt is good, and I feel like there hasn't been much noise on the Tulane front lately. So let's lay 11.5 with them and watch them route Rice.
Yeah, I mean, last year we were talking about Tulane as one of those teams that might be able to sneak in early in the year when they were undefeated, and then they lost a couple games. But Tulane's been awesome the last couple of years. So I like this pick a lot, especially because Rice sucks so much and it's less than 2 touchdowns. Again, I didn't follow because I didn't want to mush.
Let's go to Louisiana, Lafayette, South Alabama. I'm going to keep it simple. Just take the over 52.5. Keep it moving. Marshall, Coastal Carolina. Andy is taking 4 points with Coastal Carolina.
Don't do that.
Look, I agree with you. With McCall being hurt, it seems like a real dangerous spot, but every set of numbers I looked at says this is like an easy bet.
It's an easy bet if he plays.
I know. I was confused by it too. I think Marshall's pretty good. I do think they got exposed by James Madison last week, but James Madison's fucking good. They're legitimately a good football team.
Yeah, they'd probably be like 3rd best in the ACC.
Hell yeah, they would be. They're really a really good football team. So I don't think there's any shame in being exposed by James Madison. Washington going to Stanford. Al, what are we doing on your trend here, buddy?
Yeah, so Michael Penix didn't have a very good game last week, right? They eked out a W against Arizona State. So what do? You lay 26.5 with them at Stanford.
You throw for 2, you run for 2. The defense shows up.
Yeah.
Yeah, instead of 2 touchdowns and 4 interceptions or whatever you do, maybe
he had multiple turnovers. I think only 2 of them were interceptions, but he definitely fumbled one also.
He had a shitty first half. It was awful to watch.
Yeah.
Then I passed out because it was fucking midnight or 1 a.m., whatever it was. Tennessee going.
He didn't bring that big Penix energy.
He did small Penix energy. Little Pennington.
Aw.
Tennessee, Kentucky. Danny, what are you doing?
I don't know why I keep fading Kentucky. It's worked a couple times. It hasn't worked a couple times, but like I'm betting against Kentucky a lot, and I just think Tennessee's better than them, and I'm gonna lay the 3.5. I really wish that I was laying these 3.5 in, is it Knoxville?
Yeah. Yeah, got it, buddy.
All right.
Is there a better song in all of college football than
Love
Rocky
it.
Top? I don't think so. I think it's number one with
Bro,
Bullet.
there's this guy on TikTok that just does the like this countryish dance to Rocky Top. It's so cool.
I really like the
Danny
USC.
explains a meme.
I like the USC fight on that when they play the whole time. I love that song for some reason.
You
That
guys
song
don't like
gets-
when Texas plays I've Been Working on a Railroad?
No, look, yeah, there's so many. That's what makes college football great. I'm sorry, that was very hard for me to say. I made 11 sounds and like 4 words came out. College football is great because of all the songs and all the nonsense, right? Hail to the Victors is awesome. There's a lot of really good songs, but
Dude,
Rocky Top is
the
one
Canes
of them.
play the Emperor's March all the time, and I think it's fucking awesome.
It's sweet. It's so sweet. Okay, hold your nose for this one. Ohio State's going into Wisconsin. I am taking Wisconsin plus 14.5. Ohio State has the full capacity to kick the shit out of Wisconsin. But I do think they coming off a big win at Penn State. They didn't look great against Penn State, but Penn State's really good defensively. I think 14.5 points is too many. I expect Ohio State to win. I don't expect them to win by more than 2 touchdowns.
I expect
Matt, I don't think you shouldn't have to hold your nose when swallowing whiskey, but
I shouldn't. I'm too soft.
I like the over more in this game. I don't remember what the number was at, but I like Harrison Jr. to make his case for the Heisman this week.
Oh,
So I like his
get yourself
overs,
on.
his overs on touchdowns, his overs on
40,
yards.
43.5. 43.5 is the game.
Yeah, so I
over.
expect
Is that
Ohio
what you're
State to
talking
win
about?
this. I don't know if their defense will hold off Wisconsin. Wisconsin's going to try and hold the ball a bunch, but they'll likely turn it
Oh, yeah.
over and then let Ohio State get some quick touchdowns. But my favorite plays are all Marvin Harrison Jr. Props.
Get on that prize picks, buddy. Group some props together. That's a good time. Colorado, UCLA. Colorado had a bye. They finally got everything restored in their system. UCLA does one thing extremely well, and that's play defense, which is weird to say for a Chip Kelly team. They're a very good defensive team. I think they're going to make life very challenging for Colorado. Not the greatest offensive team either. Take the under 64 here. It may be close. There may be quarters where they score 40 points, but I think in totality, it's going to be 64. It's going to be like 32-27, something like that would be my guess, or 31-28. It's going to be a close game, but it's going to be lower than 64.
Does UCLA have a receiver that can and a coach that will take advantage of Travis Hunter playing both ways?
I don't know much about UCLA's receiving core outside of they have a very good tight end, and I don't think Colorado's defense is getting any better. Right, the rest may be good, but their depth
Danny,
is
what
up in big ways.
do you mean about taking advantage of it? Because I guess what the run fast.
It's the only way Stanford beat them, man.
offense?
It's the only way Stanford beat them. Basically, they realized, hey, Travis Hunter's trying to play 3,000 plays in a season, and he's fucking tired. So we're gonna put this guy who's 6'5" out there, bigger than him, and we're just gonna keep fucking throwing at him, and we're gonna win that way.
Oh,
It's the only thing we can do against them. And they came back
isn't it
and won
kind
the
of
game.
funny? Isn't it kind of funny that like people are finding loopholes in football, like by simply playing like implementing Madden rules?
That's
You know,
basically what they did. Yeah.
going for it on fourth down, throwing it to the same guy every time. It's like, next week we're gonna see all empty formations all game.
It's going to be Mike McDaniel's pivots and shifts before everyone's going to be shifting every direction. It's a copycat league, buddy. It's always been.
Hail Marys before the end of the
These
first
shifts
half.
aren't new, man. The greatest show on turf was doing all these shifts. It's just that whether or not you have a quarterback that can get the information from them, and he's a good enough coach that he could teach, and two is a smart enough guy that he can get the information, just like Kurt Warner was. Like the shifts don't work for shit when Justin Fields is out there. Like I don't watch film, I don't care, or not Justin Fields. That was fucking racist.
Justin,
Sorry.
Johnny Manziel?
Kyler Murray. Like I'm playing video games. I just confused my black running quarterbacks, and I feel bad about it.
Well,
Apologies to all the other races, and I'm sorry. I should like do something. I'll donate to NAACP.
how about you chug a beer?
That's a
That
good
sounds
idea.
good. Do that.
Let's go. North Carolina going to Georgia
Shame.
Tech. Al, what are you doing here?
Yeah, what did North Carolina do last week?
They pooped in the bed.
Yeah, what do you do after you poop your bed?
You got to change the sheets.
You make your wife change the sheets.
So you go ahead and you lay 11.5 with the Tar Heels on the road.
I like it. I like it. I do think North Carolina last week was an anomaly. I think so. I was talking about Drake May. Drake May statistically looked like he had a very poor performance. His PFF grade is like off the charts. I think there was like 8 drop passes that were like 7 of them were in for first downs and continued drives and would have made that catastrophe much more palatable. They may not have covered, but they would have won considerably. So yes, I like this play.
I love me some North Carolina. Both of these teams beat Miami, so I would love for this to end in a draw.
Okay, fair enough.
So I'm gonna take the 3-way money line
First
here.
college football draw in 3 centuries.
No, so Danny, you actually want Georgia Tech here because I don't think Georgia Tech has any chance to make the ACC.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. I know what I'm rooting for, but
I don't think it's going to happen at the Hyundai.
No, they're at home, man. They could do it. They could surprise them, but you're right. I don't think
isn't it? Yeah, it's the Hyundai Bobby Dodd Stadium or something.
It is.
So funny.
Look at you guys knowing your college stadiums today. I'm so proud of y'all. It is Bobby Dodd.
It's the big house.
It's the big house. I'm sorry, it's the big house. I'll take that back. Old Dominion, James Madison. Andy is taking the points with Old Dominion. James Madison has been kicking the shit out of people. This is an interesting spot to take this, though. 18 does seem like a lot. And Old Dominion's good.
Old Dominion's also good, but James Madison really likes to cover.
Is Old Dominion good? I feel like they were good last year, and I feel like they're pretty mid this year.
I don't know.
Man, you're going to make me Google?
No, they're 4-3.
I've always been more of a Granger person than Old Dominion, but it's a trucking joke.
Yeah, CSX.
I get it.
Yellow.
My dad worked in the trucking industry. I get it.
If I knew anything about the band, I had a lot more jokes. But I was like, they really kill it on bass. It was going to be what I was going to say, but.
Old Dominion. I left my key in the hotel room.
See, you know a lot more about it than I do.
I love me some Old Dominion. That shit's good.
Then
Old Dominion does
points.
Close.
Take the points. Oregon State going to Arizona. Andy is going to lay the 3.5 with Oregon State. Arizona's been playing good, man. But I do think Oregon State is a considerably better team, so I like this play. Nevada, New Mexico. Andy is going to die on a hill with Nevada taking 1 point. Oh, I'm supposed to be laying a point here. So he is taking the 1 point. I think New Mexico is considerably better. I'm going to lay the 1 point, and I think they will win and win by more than 1. So
just to go back to that James Madison Old Dominion thing, not to interrupt here, but Old Dominion has also they're also a cover monster, right? So they James Madison covered all of their last 5 games. Old Dominion covered 4 of the last 5. The only one they didn't was a really weird game against Texas A&M Commerce Lions, which I don't think they played everybody.
Do you think it would be better or worse if college football betting operated on a 3-way money line where if a game went to overtime, it was graded as a draw?
I do.
And
like
the total was settled at end of
I
regulation.
would love it if the total was settled in regulation, unless I have the over. Then I would love for overtime.
I very much love that the 3-way money line betting in soccer versus the way it works in other sports.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the books would love it because no one ever bets draws, but it also
no one ever bets draws.
It's never often enough in college football to offer something like that. But I think
your boy makes money on Newcastle betting draws, buddy.
Yeah, there are times when I think it would be nice, but it's also nice when you're like backing for an over and you're not anywhere close to hitting, but then the game goes to overtime and then you get like 4 touchdowns and it pushes you over. That's a nice feeling too.
Yeah. Well,
Oh, you're right. Yeah, when it goes to like quadruple overtime, when it was like tied. Yeah. That's actually nice to like feel like if you have an over, you are
But
always in it. If the
but now
game's
you've
close.
actually got to be close to that number because after 2 overtimes, it's like 2 points of possession. It's stupid.
But you're still in it.
Yeah.
You're rooting for 18 overtimes.
Like if you have it over,
Yeah.
you're literally always in it if the game's
Remember?
close.
Do you guys remember that overtime? It was last year because it was the new rule, and I think it was like Northwestern and Army or something, and it went like 7 or 8 overtimes because neither team could score on the 2-point conversion.
It was an Army.
It was anyway. I really liked that.
Northwestern. It seems like a Big Ten game. It seems like
Yeah.
Big Ten played Iowa, and Iowa kept punting on 2-point conversions, thinking that was.
Oh, all right.
So you guys are saying Old Dominion's written in the sand? That they're not just a one-man band, but they're going to make it sweet for you guys? Is that what everyone's saying here?
That's what I'm saying.
There you go.
Well done. On the fly.
There's your puns. We don't have a play in San Jose State and Hawaii. Why don't you just have some fun and take the over? Just throw some money at the over. You're not going to be able to watch it because it's on like CCTV only in Hawaii. So.
It's on whatever Hawaii's version of the CW is.
Mahalo.
UPN, yeah, or My33.
All right, boys. What's your chuggy bet?
Oh yeah, we should do that. Is it going to be UNC? Is it going to be Iowa State?
I hate all my bets this weekend, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, I'm laying double digits on almost all my picks. Of course, do not tail any of my picks this week. But I'm going to do
I would tail
UNC.
I'm going to do Utah.
Utah, UNC. I'm going to go over 52.5 in Louisiana Lafayette, South Alabama. That's just an algorithm play.
Give Andy the most points he's taking, so I think that's plus 19 with.
UVA.
With UVA,
yeah.
All right, Andy.
That feels rude.
Yeah, it just feels like what he would pick. Like he loves to take lots of points. So like, if he wasn't here to give it, let's just do something he loves.
I bet he'd take Old Dominion at plus 18.
He'd probably prefer that one. You're right, but
let's all make a chuggy bet on what Andy would pick as a chuggy bet.
Okay.
Chuggy betception. Yeah, I looked up Old Dominion.
This will only be good if we remember to do it next week.
So Old Dominion is 4-3, like I said, but they haven't lost a game by more than 7 points. So every single game.
I mean, they're a cover monster. And that one game they didn't cover was like a weird.
They lost
Community
when they were
college
favored or something.
They won 10-9, but they were supposed to win by 27, and they were playing a community college. So like I'm not going into the box score to analyze that game. I'm just gonna like.
You're not going down memory lane. It's also another Old Dominion song.
But I know the Old Dominion songs. I'm getting the puns. I know all these songs. They're on the radio. They are on the radio over and over and over again.
It's not just for you.
This is not Cody Jinks, buddy. This is fucking Luke Bryan.
All right. This argument will be a song for another time. I think that's it, right? We did it. Everyone did it. All right.
Yay.
Please feel free to like, subscribe. Remember in the comments, what were we supposed to? Was someone supposed to write?
Harry Reynolds or something?
Mark Reynolds.
Mark Reynolds.
Yeah.
If you put Mark Reynolds in the comment and give us a 5-star on Spotify and tell your friends this, I will buy everyone a gift. I'm not saying what the gift.
Round of golf on me if you write Mark Reynolds in the comments.
5-star review.
We should make Chuggy Bet golf balls.
We'll have a hell of a lot of golf balls to hit.
We should not. I lose so many golf balls. That'd be a huge waste of money. We'd get no advertising of the
2 millennia from now, someone like digs up a pond and they find all these golf balls with this icon on it.
They just like they're on the South Winds golf course. They're like, where did all these golf balls?
What is this logo? A golf ball because I love that. Be like, what is this for? And then someone scans it.
And then we can, instead of hitting them on the golf course, we can hit them off the expressway into people's cars.
Mark Reynolds.
Your QR code automatically comments Mark Reynolds on one of our videos. That'd be great.
We automatically get 5 stars. Like, damn, we're cleaning up.
It doesn't even say what the podcast is. It just submits a comment.
I cannot believe that Arizona won this shit, by the way.
Is it over? Did they win?
It's over. They won. Good. They're going. And I think it's great. Matt, right now, Arizona's won one World Series. The Marlins have won 2. They've been a slightly better franchise than us over the course of our existences.
Yeah,
Who would you rather have their history? Theirs or ours?
probably theirs. They're consistently better. Like, okay,
There's one reason I would rather have theirs. One
what's that?
person.
Luis
The big
Gonzalez.
unit.
Oh, the big unit. I do love the big unit.
Randy.
I do like Randy.
All right.
We've had some great pitchers for the Marlins, but I feel like he kind of makes Arizona like a little cooler, and they've done a little bit more on like the Moneyball type stuff of like making that shit happen.
Well,
So.
they've been considerably better all the time.
Also, we stole Dan Ugla from them, so
They
we're
should
basically the
go
same.
back to teal and purple though.
I agree. We need teal back in baseball. We need it in the Marlins. We need it in Arizona.
Dude,
Teal
the Marlins, Bruce Sherman, I should just fucking tell his nephew, just go back to the Aqua. It was so good.
was awesome.
It was so good. All the fans love it. Just please go back. You'll sell more jerseys.
Yep.
Our new logo looks like a select a team from like just a random sports game. Like, I'm gonna make the Miami Marauders, and it's like just a generic app.
All right.
All
Thanks
right,
for listening.
Thanks for listening. Get yourself, remember Mark Reynolds in the comments.
Mark.
5 stars, Mark Reynolds, you get a gift, okay?